Hey attorney, 10 years na kaming hiwalay ng asawa ko. Can I remarry na?
Hello and welcome to the very first episode of the Hey Attorney podcast. Finally, nagawa ko na din after many years, I finally have my own YouTube channel. This is of course based off of my other social media platforms. Nakilala niyo ako una sa TikTok and then Instagram. So yung mga tidbits doon, we will expound that in this longer version of discussion and that you will learn more about these videos that I make. So for example, I discuss about data privacy and 90 seconds lang siya. Here, we will talk about it in thorough and we will discuss all the possible follow-up questions that you have. So for today's episode, we have a very interesting topic. Ito yung tanong sa atin. Hey attorney, 10 years na kaming hiwalay ng asawa ko. Can I remarry na? Of course, for those who've seen this video on my TikTok like 2 years ago, you already know the answer. But for this episode, hihimayin natin yung tanong na yan and we will look at all the possible angles, all the possible follow-up questions that you have. Itong question na to, like I've been separated from my spouse for 15, 20 years, pwede na ba ako magpakasal ulit? Those kinds of questions I get flooded with all over my social media platforms, in the inbox, in the comment section. And we will finally settle this once and for all. Kasi unfortunately, this setup has become the norm in our Philippine society especially. Kasi nga wala tayong divorce dito and annulment cases or separation proceedings are so hard to come by. So, ang ginagawa nilang mga tao is that even though they are legally married, nakikipag-live-in na lang sila sa mga karelasyon nila because they don't want to go through the process of annulment or declaration of nullity of marriage, etc., etc. So, going back to the question, pwede nga ba? Pwede na ba ako magpakasal ulit? Pwede na ba ako mag-move on? The general answer is no. I'm sorry, you can't remarry yet. But I will discuss later the exception to that. Kung hiwalay ka lang sa asawa mo, like physically nagkahiwalay kayo or hindi na kayo nagko-contact with each other, it does not mean na na-dissolve na yung marriage ninyo. Kasal pa rin kayo in the eyes of the law and in the eyes of people and the eyes of the Philippine laws, no? Kasal pa rin kayo. So because kasal ka pa sa iyong original na asawa, sa iyong legal wife or legal husband, kung magpapakasal ka ulit in the Philippines to a person na kinakasama mo or yung girlfriend, boyfriend mo, then you could be criminally liable. Pwede kang makulong. Because that crime is called bigamy. It's when you enter into a second marriage without having to dissolve or without dissolving the first one. So, bale, parang dalawa yung asawa mo, and that is bigamy. So, if ayaw mong makulong, please listen very carefully sa discussion natin ngayon. So, maraming situations wherein na-dissolve yung marriage aside from death, no? So, one of which is the declaration of nullity of marriage. Another is the annulment proceedings. And meron ding declaration of presumptive death. Nai-interchange natin yung term na annulment and declaration of nullity of marriage. But technically, by law, iba yung meaning nila. Annulment of marriage means merong kasal talaga from the start, and ginagawa na lang itong invalid later on due to some grounds. So in Article 45 ng Family Code, andun yung mga grounds for annulment. So for example, nun is lack of parental consent or fraud. Declaration of nullity of marriage naman refers to marriages that are actually void from the start. This is because absent yung one or two of the formal or essential requisites of marriage. In other words, simula pa lang hindi na legit yung marriage ninyo. So some examples of void marriages are as follows: incestuous marriages, marriages against public policy, marriages that are bigamous, and of course, yung pinakasikat is the marriage that is void due to psychological incapacity. So for you to say na hindi na kayo nakikita ng asawa mo or hiwalay na kayo for 10 years, pwede siyang pasok sa psychological incapacity pero hindi siya ground in and of itself. So just because hindi kayo nagkita for 10 years or just because hiwalay kayo for 10 years, doesn't mean na walang bisa na yung kasal nyo. But it could actually be an indication of psychological incapacity. So you have to evaluate bakit ba kayo naghiwalay ng asawa mo at ba't ba kayo hindi nagsasama na ngayon. So is it because narcissist siya? Is it because depressive yung personality niya? So in psychological disorders or personality disorders, may nakadefine doon kung ano yung klaseng mga pag-uugali na pasok under psychological incapacity. And you need the help of a psychiatrist or a psychologist for this. Pero syempre, according to the Supreme Court, hindi na siya required na kailangan na meron talagang evaluation ng psychologist or psychiatrist, but it does help. So if pasok yung situation ninyo under psychological incapacity na hindi nyo na ma-fulfill yung obligation ninyo as husband and wife, kasi nga 10 years na kahiwalay at ganito yung mga ugali nila, may mga personality disorders kayo, then you could make a case for a declaration of nullity of marriage under or based on psychological incapacity. Another situation that we can derive from this question, no, na hindi sila nagkikita, hindi sila nagsasama in 10 years. So what if hindi mo talaga siya nakita yung spouse mo, parang nawala na lang siyang parang bula, and you have zero knowledge of where this person is, then you could actually file for a declaration of presumptive death. I know, madaming mga scam nito sa Facebook which you have to be very careful of. Yung mga gusto mag-shortcut sa process of annulment or nullity of marriage, ayaw na nila to go through the court proceedings, so papatayin na lang nila on paper yung asawa nila. So that is illegal, okay? I highly advise you not to go that route. Pero kung legitimate talaga yung belief mo na patay na yung asawa mo at wala kang knowledge kung saan na siya talaga, then you can file for that declaration of presumptive death. So before mong patayin on paper yung ex-spouse mo, please consider these requisites. So this is how you know na pasok ka dun sa category na yon. Number 1, missing yung spouse mo for 4 consecutive years. And 2 years if yung disappearance ng spouse mo falls under Article 391 of the Civil Code. Second requisite is the spouse or you wish to remarry. Number 3, you have a well-founded belief na patay na talaga yung spouse mo. And it has to be well-founded talaga ha. You can't just act, like a fool or, kitang-kita naman sa Facebook na buhay pa siya, but then you will say that, no, he's dead already. I don't know about that, So if there is no basis for you to say na patay na siya, then you cannot, this filing, your petition, will not be successful. And lastly, you should file a summary proceeding for the declaration of presumptive death. So kung nag-grant na ito ng court at na-establish mo na well-founded talaga yung belief mo at wala talaga siya, nobody could tell the judge or you kung saan tong taong to, the absentee spouse, then you can remarry na. So if yung situation mo, wala dun sa mga enumerate ko for annulment, for nullity of marriage, for declaration of presumptive death, you cannot remarry. And like I said, if you do remarry and you're still legally married, you will be held criminally liable for bigamy. So I uploaded this video last 2021 and sa comment section, ang daming mga follow-up questions. So kuha tayo siguro ng mga 2 or 3 and let's answer them. First question is from TikTok from a person named Orochi. Attorney, magkakaroon ba ng right ang asawa sa ari-arian ng husband niya even if they separated for almost 25 years and have new partners? The answer is yes. Meron pa rin karapatan even though they have been separated for 25 years. Unless of course, meron kayong prenuptial agreement na complete separation yung property nyo. So for example, namatay yung isang spouse, hindi mapupunta sa kanyang common law or live-in partner yung mga ari-arian niya, kundi doon pa rin sa kanyang legal wife kahit na 25 years ago pa silang hindi magkasama. So yan yung mga complications of not legally dissolving your marriage. Talagang may mga ganyang mangyayari. Another question from Liza. Paano po pagkasal yung lalaki pero hiwalay na daw sila na matagal na at nagka-GF na si boy, may anak pa din sila, anong mangyayari? Okay, so may legal wife, yung guy, and then hiwalay na daw sila matagal na, so nag-girlfriend siya. What could possibly happen? Anong pwede mangyari? Delikado. Pwedeng makasuhan yung guy ng VAUC for psychological abuse. Kung gusto ng wife na kasuhan siya, she can still do it because they're still legally married. Pwede din siyang kasuhan ng concubinage under Article 334 of the Revised Penal Code. So again, delikado criminally sa isang lalaki to have another relationship kahit na legally married siya kasi madaming criminal cases, well actually 2 criminal cases ang pwedeng i-file sa kanya. I know we have a lot to say about how difficult the annulment and nullity process here in the Philippines and how it's necessary to have a divorce. Alam ko ganyan yung mga opinions. Madaming mga ganyang klaseng voices that I hear in my TikTok and in my Instagram. But for now, it's better for you to be on the safe side. It's better na alam mo yung batas. And I hope may natutunan kayo in this episode. And that's it for our very first episode of the Hey Attorney podcast. So please, if you have any questions about the topic or you want to share your thoughts, please do so in the comment section below. And also, please like this video and subscribe to my channel kasi wala pang subscribers. And I will see you all in our next episode. Also, follow me on my socials, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Hey Attorney.